Now, what's more American than reading the Constitution of the United States? Well, let me tell you, probably about 95% of the people that scream out, "We the people," have never even read the motherfucking Constitution. But let me just say something. Levying war against your own country, playing around with global commerce and preventing people from making any money, suppressing them, interfering with their communications, with their family. Because let me just say, we have cousins across the world, and they don't want us to know that, okay? Here, First Nations, they'll talk about, this is Turtle Island. That's right, this is Turtle Island, all native land. Cousins, before they contain us, I just want you to know that we know, there's several of us that know, that the different colonies, the different kings, they pushed us all over the world. And that those lands there that you're standing on are also native lands. And throughout history, when you study on a timeline, you'll start to see all the tribes that potentially your family was in. And then when you learn their stories of how they pushed you to this world or that world, like the first world that they claim is the first world apparently Americas are the second world. And then we've got the third worlds, those are like the colonies where they dump off people where they don't fucking want them. And that's like well-documented history in the colonization societies, which are global, by the way. And for whatever other reason, my other video that got all whacked out, I'm not going to spend 3 hours trying to fucking clip it back because nobody had consent to alter my video. That was my digital asset. You did not have consent. And I'm filing every single one of these and backing up everything. So, that's what they're trying to do too. They're like, oh my gosh, let's get out of here. Let's just, back out of a lot of stuff. But because you guys have never read the fucking Constitution, as even you Americans, okay, it literally says neither slavery nor involuntary servitude, except as a punishment for crime. Now, let's just talk about that crime. How do you create laws that literally says that if you're homeless, if you're in a homeless encampment even, or let's say, see, it's really concerning with the whole conversation about the encampments on the news. And, just in case we want to forget that actually happened and try to label me as misinformation, let's go ahead and just play that clip. It's this one right here, and I'll just tag a post because we're not going to let the damn sound play. Anyways, with the veteran sit-in, I just saw, some pretty big popular TikTok creators marching down to Union Station where I guess the waste, fraud, and abuse of our massive military vehicles are just sitting there just waiting to intimidate people to come in and out of the Union Station. But I always have receipts, okay? I got receipts. I also get interrupted a lot, but this is a document, actually a page right out of the document. There's 75 years worth of the American colonization societies. They spelled it with an S. There's not a lot of details on it, probably because it's real hush-hush. I don't know why, but it's really the proof of what I'm telling you about how they push people around and how they're freaking doing it right now. They're doing it right now in real time. And those who know me very well know the extent of my social justice research is unmatched. Not in all areas, just, because we can't be experts in everything. But this is something I've studied pretty well. And then to learn that they had a global one, like Formosa, it's now called Taiwan. Like that history, holy crap. And Baron Sato, yeah, all those folks. They're all up in there working together to get people acclimated with different lands from where they were from. Probably because, for instance, behind me is just one of my great-grandmothers. And she just so happened to be on a ship that when I looked it up, it said it didn't exist until 1913. But I have the fucking records. I have the documents. And the same ship that she was on was actually related to what happened in Hafia. Okay? So while I was studying my own ancestry, I happened upon a massive question of documentation that was coming from what I had in my family versus some of the records that I had found in the Library of Congress. And I thought it was really strange. But the more digitization that we get, I mean, they can pretty much alter anything. Like, I just found this earlier, too, just by the way. Now, you know that book was not called that. We know that this book was not called that. And we're still talking about war. We're still talking about the World War, the bonus army and shit, okay? We still talking about it. If you could change it like this, and you can change, like, different pages or different colors and stuff, some really wild stuff is going on, okay? It's as if they don't want us to remember, or they're cosplaying and, like, a recreation of stuff, yeah? And it's really hard to tell, like, which one was the movie. Did we have cameras back at the time that they were making documents? That they claim that those eras were. I tell you what, the old newspapers, oh, man, some stories are in there. And I am so grateful that people kept those. Keep your hard copied documents. All your tickets that you put on TikTok, I certainly will, because I got like hundreds of them from where my human rights are violated. Those will all be backed up, and every single one of them is going to be charged. Just like there comes a time where accountability needs to be known. And it seems cousins across the ocean seas and all over, in every bloodline that I am, from here and other places, I cannot embrace just one part of myself. So the moment that we can actually dismantle the census, and I know, man, I heard about what you guys did over there in the UK, where you guys identified as Jedis. That was really clever. See, that really pissed them off. And it's pissing them off here in America, too, for people to claim their identities, their true identities, instead of being forced and crammed into a bag, And no matter how many times you change the toggles and the queries to direct your information and answers that come from religious texts instead of older, more relevant, let's just say, more relevant documentation. You can change a whole race within a year. If they can do that, they want us back in our boxes. But I will never stop talking about that document from 1751 that was actually first written in 1748 by Benjamin Franklin himself. And here's that document. I'm just going to go ahead and read the little part that we should focus on. Which leads me to add one remark, that the number of purely white people in the world is proportionately very small. All Africa is black or tawny. Asia, chiefly tawny. America, exclusive of the newcomers, wholly so. And in Europe, the Spaniards, Italians, French, Russians, and Swedes are generally of what we call a swarthy complexion, as are Germans also, the Saxons only excepted, who, with the English, make the principal body of the white people on the face of the earth. I could wish her numbers were increased. And while we are, as I may call it, scouring our planet by clearing America of woods, and so making this side of our globe reflect a brighter light to the eyes of inhabitants in Mars or Venus. Why should we, in the sight of superior beings, darken its people? Why increase the sons of Africa by planting them in America, when we have so fair an opportunity, by excluding all blacks and tawnies, of increasing the lovely white and red? But perhaps I am partial to the complexion of my country, for such kind of partiality is natural to mankind. Told you I don't tell no lies. I'm your swarthy ally. Tells you. So, cousins, if you still want to keep in touch overseas, hit me up on the messages. I want to stay in touch with some of you, with many of you actually. And I will not be condemned and restricted to parrot the patria of the manifest destiny and the overwrite of history. Because once we all started talking, they got scared that they just might, be held accountable. I don't tell any lies. Let's catch up on another app until they decide to dismantle Meta, which is becoming a absolute fantastical government manipulated, government swayed monopoly, which is illegal on native land. Quackway!